For today's video, it's gonna be another thrift store challenge, and this time we are headed over to Crate and Barrel to get loads of inspiration, and then we are headed over to the thrift store to see what we can come up with for a whole lot less. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. One of the first things I noticed when I walked into Crate and Barrel was the amount of decorative storage options that were available for purchase. So there really was something for everyone. I personally was gravitated towards these aspen canisters. I liked the mix of materials they're using here. And then I was at the thrift store and I came across these ones that looked really similar. The concept is very similar, right? Each of these canisters was just $3. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just kind of inspecting each of the canisters to see if there's anything wrong, and sure enough there was, but it was going to be easily fixed. That top piece just needed to be reassembled in the back so it would have that nice tight seal again. But the seal was there, the clasp worked perfectly, and oddly enough, both of these canisters still had the spoons attached to them, which I think is almost never the case. So I was really happy with this find. And I know typically with canisters like these, you might want to use them in your kitchen, but for me personally, I wanted just some decorative storage to place my bath salts and my bath bombs inside of, so I'm gonna stick this on top of my thrifted wood shelf in my bathroom. In addition to those canisters, I wanted to add something that was like scent related. And one thing I noticed that Crate and Barrel had, they had a whole section dedicated to candles and reed diffusers, but they were so expensive. So I came across this one at the Goodwill for just $3.99. It was never used, in perfect condition. And I loved that little gold accent cap there that just perfectly matched those canisters. And I think it's the perfect addition to this shelf. I would say one of the main heroes for me in Crate and Barrel home decor is their faux floral arrangements. They look so luxe and so beautiful. And when I was on my way back actually from Crate and Barrel, I came across a house that had recently had a garage sale, and these were the items that did not sell at her sale. So she said, go ahead and take whatever I wanted. So I ended up picking up a couple things that I'm gonna share with you guys in this video. So I really liked this just white, simple vase. I thought it matched the canisters perfectly, decided to stick some greenery in here that I just happen to have on hand. So for under $10, I was able to completely style my bathroom shelf using thrifted or free items. As I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite things Crate and Barrel does are their faux floral arrangements. I love this poinsettia arrangement. It's $129, and I thought we could definitely come up with something from the thrift store that's a whole lot less. I came across this bundle for just $2, and then I was looking for a white kind of ceramic glossy vase, but I couldn't find one. So I ended up opting for a sort of fishbowl style of a clear vase, and we are just going to take some gloss white spray paint, and we're only gonna spray the inside of the vase because I still wanted it to have that really nice shiny sheen on the exterior, but I wanted the inside color to be white, if that makes sense. I ended up doing 3 really light coats of the gloss white spray paint just to make sure everything was really well covered, and then I sealed it as well. I brought it inside once it had dried, and then now it was just time to add our faux florals. I trimmed each floral stem down to the appropriate size, and for just $3, I think I have a really similar look on a budget. To add to that floral arrangement, I really love all of the candle holders that Crate and Barrel carries. This one specifically, for such a small little candle holder, it's almost $15. And weirdly enough, my mom had given me this candle holder in the past. I asked her if she remembered where she bought it, and she said it was given to her as well. So I'm thinking that this might have actually been from Crate and Barrel. I could be totally wrong. There's not a tag that says that it is, but it looks so similar. But the inside was a little bit damaged, so I cleaned it out. I'm gonna spray it down with some brass spray paint. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than it was previously. I'm going to remove that tape, and that tape was really just to protect the exterior to keep that nice and black and the inside gold. A quick cleaning and a coat of spray paint can go a long way, and I'm so happy that I was able to add this into my kitchen decor for the holiday season. And sticking with that same wire theme, Crate & Barrel actually carries quite a bit of kind of wire decor. They have wire bowls, wire napkin holders, wire baskets, and you can always find these at the thrift store. I came across this one that looked like it had never been used for just $4, and how they had this square bowl displayed in the store was next to a cookbook stand with a cookbook on top of it with a floral arrangement. So that is exactly how I displayed mine as well, and I think I'm able to get a really similar look. Which brings me to the cookbook stand. So this is the one they had on display. It is $39.95. It is really beautiful. It has that kind of protective sheet over top of it, which is a nice feature, but I came across this one at the thrift store for just $1, and I think I'm able to achieve a similar look, but much more budget friendly. If I were to purchase all of these comparable home decor pieces at Crate & Barrel, I would be spending well over $200, but because I did it at the thrift store, I only spent $8. Moving right along into textiles, I would say Crate & Barrel has very modern decor, a lot of high contrast pieces, a lot of black and white geometric prints. So if you're looking for a really modern look in your space, those are the things you'll want to look out for at the thrift store as well. So I came across this really beautiful large scale throw pillow. It does have a zipper. Again, it's filled with this sort of wool material. I just empty that out right into the trash bag, and then I take it outside, and then I'm able to actually wash the cover. So because I essentially got rid of the insert, I'm taking an insert from a pillow that I already have. It is from the Studio McGee line, and I'm going to wash the cover in my washing machine on a gentle setting. Once it's washed, I just lay it flat to dry, and then it's just time to fill it with that insert I showed you previously. This pillow only cost me $3. I think it looks great in my space, especially for the fall and winter months. I just want it to feel a little bit moodier and darker and cozier, and I feel like I was able to achieve that by thrifting this pillow cover. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that my weakness in home decor is always the pottery, the vases, the planters, all of those sorts of things. Crate & Barrel's no exception. They make beautiful pottery. I actually came across this one though at the Goodwill for $6, and this is probably one of my favorite jug vases I've ever actually found. The color tones are perfect, and to fill it, I'm actually going to use that cedar stem that I found at the thrift store that I showed you guys previously, and I think this looks great for the holiday season. Another piece of decor that I really loved while I was shopping around Crate & Barrel was this hammered tray for $39.95. I loved the modernness of it. Trays are great for decor and corralling-like items, but I actually came across this hammered candle holder at a garage sale recently, and it was just $1, and I thought this was such a good price point for something like this. This is super heavy, it's such good quality, and I ended up finding those tapered candles at the thrift store that I showed you in my Anthropology dupes video, and I absolutely love that this was all secondhand and it looks really high end but on a budget. Okay, so now let's talk about the wall art that you might find at Crate & Barrel. So a lot of it is very modern, a lot of high contrast pieces, but a lot of what you're paying for is actually the scale. So these art pieces are huge. I actually have this piece by Cater Bowley. It is called The Herd. A lot of you guys have asked about it. I bought it from Crate & Barrel, and it was definitely an investment piece. But I think there's a way to achieve this look on a smaller scale using some thrifted items. Always look through the frames at your thrift store, but this specific frame that I'm going to be using actually was for free. I found it when I also found that white ceramic vase, and it had a little bit of damage to it, but nothing that couldn't be solved with a little super glue gel. So I'm just going to reattach these pieces back together, and I'm actually going to be using a rug sample from Restoration Hardware. And while I was at Crate & Barrel, they had a really beautiful display of their rug samples as well in shadow boxes though. So I don't have a shadow box, I just have a frame. So I'm actually just going to attach this rug sample to my wall using some 3M tape, and then I'm just going to attach the frame over top of it. So the rug actually isn't going to be attached to the frame at all. It's just gonna kind of look like it is to get that sort of shadow box effect. I did decide to paint my frame black, just again to add to that more moody aesthetic in my office. This is a really fun, affordable project to try. Everything is stuck up there with some 3M tape, so whenever I get sick of it, I can just take it down. But for now, I really like this sort of patterned and moody element that this brings to my office space. And lastly, I wanted to talk about some lighting you would see at Crate & Barrel. So a lot of modern light fixtures, a lot of modern table lamps, but actually I loved these tapered candle holders. And sometimes you can just gain inspiration by seeing a similar item. So when I came across this lamp, it reminded me so much of these candle holders. So even if the item is different, so I didn't find tapered candle holders, but I did find a table lamp that kind of resembles that similar shape. This table lamp was in otherwise perfect condition, at least the base was. The shade had some scuff marks, and I think a lot of times people pass on lighting at thrift stores because it has some scuff marks or there's a stain on it, and I have never had a stain that I could not get out using a magic eraser. I take the magic eraser and I dampen it ever so slightly, and then very gently I just kind of buff out those scuff marks. And while this shade was great, I'm actually going to keep it for a different lamp. I just prefer an angled lampshade. I think that just adds to the kind of like harshness of lines and modernness of it all. So I actually found this one at the thrift store for just $4. It was brand new, never used, and decided to place it on top of this table lamp. And that about wraps it up for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If there is a high-end retailer store that you guys are interested in seeing me do this style of a video to, just leave me a comment down below. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. Bye.